Welcome everyone to ImaginateVisions.com. Justin here. Welcome back to Gaming Central, a special Gaming Central today because it's kicking off the pre-Tribeca Film Festival week. Tribeca Film Festival begins actually next week, and we will have coverage for you here at ImaginateVisions.com. But today, I want to give a preview of a section of Tribeca, which is called Tribeca Games. Now, every year Tribeca picks up a couple of games. It could be indies, it could be mainstream, and those developers and the team behind it come to New York to showcase the game and demo the game for the public. And we have a nice list this year, which I'm really excited about. And before we begin, I just want to say that Tribeca Games is from June 10th to June 14th at Pier 57. You do not have to pay. I want to stress this enough. The only one you have to pay for is the first one I'm going to be talking about. But for Tribeca Games to play at Pier 57, to play these games, you do not have to pay, but you do have to RSVP at a particular time, the operating hours. So make sure you head over to tribecafilm.com/festival/games. Link will be in the description, and you just RSVP to the event there. It doesn't cost you anything, but what does cost you is the first thing I'm going to be talking to you about is the Control Beyond the Oldest House sequel from the Control game, which will be actually a panel at the SVA Theater on Friday, June 12th at 8:30. Nia DaCosta is going to be there with the creative director of the game as they will be talking about craft, mechanics, exploration. So you're going to get a real preview of what is to be expected at the sequel for the event. But what I want to really talk about as well is the games that will be at Pier 57. Some of these games I saw trailers for a while back when they were announced, and I'm really happy that they're coming here to New York, that I get to try it out. One of the games that I want to talk to you first about is Demi in the Fractured Dream. And the description here is, let's bring up the trailer a little bit here. And it says, in this action adventure, you play as Demi and venture through the wondrous world of Somnus. Tasked by a mysterious voice, you must destroy the legendary accursed beasts to save the world. And the game will be available for exhibition play at the Tribeca Games Gallery, like I said, June 10th to June 14th. This one is developed by Yarn Studios, and Anna Perna Interactive is the publisher for this, and they recently, I believe, they did Mixtape. And I really, just looking at the game here, as you guys can see from the trailer, I like it. I'm really very interested on how this particular game is going to work. I like the aesthetics. I like the graphics of this. And it reminds me of a little bit Breath of the Wild when it comes to just the way the aesthetics looks, the way the monsters look. It reminds me a little bit of Breath of the Wild and a little bit of The Last Story, mainly Breath of the Wild, but it's a very Zelda-esque type of feel. So I will definitely be giving my thoughts on it when I play it during the Tribeca Games week. So stay tuned for that. And then our next game we're going to be talking about, my friends, is the game which I think it's going to be a sleeper hit for me, will be Drifted. And Drifted, let's bring up the trailer. And it says, Drifted is a paper airplane. A paper airplane ventures into a vast world of darkness. Drifted is a narrative-driven platform. But this game here reminds me of Inside. Just the way aesthetically it looks, graphically it reminds me of the game Inside. And just the fact that we have a game that's the main protagonist is a paper airplane, I think that's something unique. And just the way mechanically to see what they're able to pull off with this and how they're going to be able to pull off with this, I'm curious to see how this is going to work. So Drifted is another game that I definitely am looking forward to. Then we have something called Escape the Internet Part 2. And this is a massive multiplayer game for movie theaters. So you and hundreds of strangers are trapped on a mysterious island, and you must work together with your phones to escape the AI apocalypse. Now, this sounds very interesting. This is also one of those events at Tribeca that you're going to have to pay for. This one is taking place on 2 days. It's going to be taking place June 4th at 5:30 and then June 14th at 2:30. And it's going to be at AMC 19th Street on AMC 19th Street East 6. So for those who are in that area, and if you want to know the price, if you head over there, it's $16 plus the fee. So it's only $20. I actually will spend, I might actually buy this and check it out just in case I don't get like a press seating for that. But I will definitely check it out and make sure I give you guys my feedback on that. So I will buy my ticket after this. Then we have Forever Go. Forever Ago. And this is following a tragic story of fate. Alpha embarks on a journey north in search of redemption. In this single player road trip adventure, you travel to beautiful places, capture memories with your camera, meet interesting characters, and even make some friends. Now, I'm currently playing a game called Opius Prism, and this reminds me of that particular game, which I highly suggest you guys go play that one as well. It has that kind of same beats, has that same aesthetics, feel, and it's a slice of life game. And I absolutely love slice of life games, and I'm looking forward to checking this one out as well and see narratively, story wise, what this game is going to present and how the controls feel. So Forever Ago, definitely on it. Now, this one is the highlight for me that I'm really excited about to talk about. And it's also a game that I was fortunate enough to get a demo copy of, a demo key for, which I'm waiting for the embargo, I'm waiting to get the embargo logistics of it. But I did get a chance to play Kidbash Super Legend, at least a level of it early before the actual Tribeca Games. And I will have to say this: I never thought I'd be saying this company's name again, but Acclaim has returned, and this is a good way so far. Just off impressions alone, this seems like a good way to really reestablish the Acclaim name. So here's a description. Let's bring up the trailer for this, and it says, Kid Bash Super Legend is a roguelike action platformer that blends nostalgic gameplay with a character-rich story. You'll play as Kid Bash, a hero stricken with amnesia, rediscovering your true identity and purpose while navigating vibrant landscapes of the ODD and conquering challenging levels. I won't say how the game plays or anything like that until the festival's over, but just I'll give you a little spoiler hit. I'm very pleased and I had fun with what I played so far. More details on Kid Bash Super Legends separately later. Then we have a game called, and hopefully I pronounce this right, Loaf Song. And let's bring up the trailer for this one. It says, how can we communicate with the future? A wordless journey across a dead earth where sound is the only language left and every monument holds the memory of lost humanites. Lost Song is a stunning art-driven narrative adventure game across deep time ages. Explore vast, brutalist landscapes to uncover traces of meaning left in stone and sound, and build a bridge what once was and what still may come. Now, this one's an interesting one because it's the whole concept of it is going to just be around sound. So I'm curious to see. I like the aesthetics. I like the way the game looks. So I'm curious to see how does it play. We also have Milk Tooth Project. They're an independent game studio based in London, and they will be announcing a new game as well. They're showcasing a new game. It's to be dated, but we'll see what they have at Tribeca as well. Then we have Rebounder, and let's bring up the trailer. So Rebounder is a kinetic platforming game set in the ink-stained pages of vintage comic books. You play as a laborer running lines through a otherworldly work site as things rattle apart. This game looks insane. This looks like it's going to be a challenging game to play, and I'm here for it. It looks like it's going to be brutal. It looks like it's going to be something like Meat Boy. and I'm here for it. I like this aesthetics here, the way the art style is. It's really like a old school comic book new noir type of feel come to life the way the game is drawn. So I'm really curious to see how this one plays as well. And then we have Rivage, which I don't have much of a description here. It's blank on the Tribeca channel on the Tribeca Film Festival, but this one looks like a story narrative driven game as well. It looks like it has a lot of looks like want to say Telltale. So this is I just found it. It says it's a sci-fi puzzle adventure set aboard the Ares or ARES space station trapped in a space phenomenon. You wake up as Miranda, forced to explore and solve intricate puzzles to unravel the fate of your missing crew. So this is a puzzle game, and we don't have that much mainstream or much puzzle games out there that really has us sinking our teeth into. And just looking at this, just looking at from the aesthetically, this looks like this is going to be a fun, good time. Next game we have is Rock Beast. And Rock Beast is a rock and roll management RPG where you got an up and coming 90s grudge band from the garage obscurity to on-stage glory, trying to sell out stadiums without selling out. That synopsis alone has me sold. I love management games, especially management games when it has to deal with the art and just the way this, like artistically wise, the way the art style is. It reminds me of BoJack Horseman, and that it's a mix of BoJack Horseman and I'm not sure if you remember the comedy show Ugly Americans, but though that aesthetically, the way it's drawn and the characters look very interesting. Just looking from some of the moments, clips of the gameplay, it looks interesting. So I'm very, very excited to get my hands on this one as well to give it a try to see what the game entails. Then we have There Are No Ghosts at the Grand, and this one is a musical Lovecraftian renovation game featuring original songs and all singing cast. This is a musical mystery unlike any other. And musical games, the last musical game I played was the RPG. Not RPG, it was the visual novel Stray Gods. And that, if there's anything, if the music is anything like Stray Gods or is just as good as Stray Gods, I know that I'm going to have a blast with this. It is very interesting too because the renovation games and it's blending in two different particular genres. You have the renovation games and then you have a musical. So I'm also curious to see how that is going to be able to be pulled off. And once again, coverage is coming for this. I'm going to play every single game here and do separate coverages for them. So stay tuned for that. This one looks like it's going to be a treat. Then we have a kind of anime-esque type of game. Just the title alone is anime-esque. Truck-Kun is supporting me from another world. And your truck is magic, and you now owe a soul debt to the buff Isekai elf girl living in your head. Run over pedestrians as Truck makes deliveries and defeat the Skeleton King. That alone sounds wild and crazy and pure Japanese anime goodness. What a you know how if you looked at my previous channel, I was on the Tacos and Gays. I have a love-hate relationship for Isekai anime because I feel like it's oversaturated the anime market. Now that I have a game that's Isekai is like, oh my god. But no, this one does sound very interesting in concept. And just trailer-wise, it looks freaking wild. And then finally, we have Virtual and Sledgehammer, and it's described as you go back to your hometown and tear it down with a sledgehammer. Confront your past in a devastating story about you no longer feeling play. Excuse me. You no longer feeling like you belong in the place that you grew up. So this looks like it's going to be one of those games where it's very therapeutic, and it looks like it's going to be a very character-driven game. So this one also has my eye just based on the description, the aesthetics. You going back home with the sledgehammer. This looks like it's going to be a moving story, and that's one thing Tribeca Games does. It doesn't just showcase video games. The game has to have a key element to it, and that is storytelling. And the storytelling has to be good enough, character driven enough to really kind of be showcased at Tribeca, because Tribeca is all about story. So I'm very curious to see what these games are going to be story wise, at least getting a glimpse of them. And some of it is gameplay as well, but the story driven games really catches my eye, especially Virtue and the Sledgehammer. That one, just the synopsis alone is making me go, hmm, this might be probably the one that character wise I might probably relate to the most. So that is going to be a little bit of the preview. Hope you guys, if you're living in New York, definitely head over to the website. The link is in the description to check out Tribeca Games from June 10th to June 14th. I will be there. So I will be covering all, trying to get my hands on every single game to play. I will have a separate video on Kidbash since the developers were kind enough to give me a preview of it. So I will definitely get that out to you guys once the embargo lifts up. So stay tuned for that. And that's it. This is Justin from Game Essential from ImagineTelevisions.com. If you like what we do here, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you like what we do here, you know what to do. I'll catch you later. Later days.